If you wanted another reason not to buy a new car, listen up. General Motors is one company being sued right now for using technology in its vehicles to not only spy on its customers, but also to sell them out. So you probably know at this point that your phone is tracking your every move and collecting your data. However, did you know that your car is doing it as well? Over the past couple of months, a story has been developing as details are emerging about a startling trend across a number of automakers that has new cars dialing into everything you say or do. Originally, it seemed as if this was a ploy or like a metric for automakers to sell your data to insurance companies to hike up the premiums, which is bad enough. However, when it turns out that they have also been collecting information on everything from your religious beliefs to philosophical affiliations and God knows what else, probably everything else, things get much scarier and more invasive than that. New York Times claims that GM isn't alone, but also is accompanied by companies like Honda, Acura, Kia, Hyundai, and Mitsubishi in this invasive data harvesting practice. In the wake of this news, GM is actually getting sued and simultaneously dropping its relationship with data brokers LexisNexis and Verisk. This news comes at the same time that we find out that there was a class action lawsuit filed against GM, OnStar, and LexisNexis with allegations that a plaintiff's insurance premiums were raised from data gathered through their Cadillac. As a part of a statement, GM spokesperson Kevin Kelly told the Detroit Free Press, quote, "Customer trust is a priority for us, and we are actively evaluating our privacy processes and policies." If that doesn't sound like the most BS, generic, corporate speak, canned response I've ever heard, I don't know what does. A PR person obviously put that together, but be a little bit less PR-y. Come on, guys. And look, I'm a GM guy for sure. Like, it's been well documented throughout history. But these practices, to me even, are a little bit disturbing. So, sure, we're being tracked on a day-to-day basis through our devices. However, it really feels like the auto industry, or at least those participating in these practices, have kind of gone about it in a little bit of a sneaky, slimy way with the way that they've implemented all this. And sure, they've probably crossed their legal T's and dotted their legal I's, but at the end of the day, it kind of feels like an ultra-invasive, sneaky, and disingenuous way to do all this. Remember, there's a big difference between being ethical and being legal, and it just seems like a line's been crossed. So shame on anyone sneaking around and trying to steal data in the night. So I get that the auto industry is losing some of its profit margin these days and always trying to please shareholders. And on top of that, in 2024, data is really like the new gold rush and one of the most valuable commodities out there. But things like this just don't really feel like a solid, integrity laced long term way to, fix the balance sheet and keep the company moving forward. And before we know it, though, there's going to be car companies that are selling like data free cars. That's going to be like their whole selling point, which is kind of a sad thing. If those even exist at all, and not every brand is just trying to take our data and sell us to the highest bidder. And stories like this really just make me want to stick with my 25-year-old truck just a little bit longer. As the future moves more toward 1984 than we'd ever imagined. And another stat that kind of demonstrates the 1984 deal is that McKinsey, a company, I guess, that does studies and whatnot, estimated that 95% of cars sold will have internet connectivity by 2030, and they estimate that car data monetization could deliver up to $400 billion in annual revenue for players by 2030. Granted that GM's revenue was just under $172 billion last year, we're sure they would love a piece of that $172 billion pie. The sad part, though, is that we're probably just going to be mad about it for, a couple weeks. This video will probably get some people fired up, and then we're probably going to forget about it all, forfeit our rights to privacy, because that's just kind of how the world works. And hopefully I'm wrong, but realistically, am I? Just the latest effort of the automotive industry to make more money too. First, we go through the heated seat subscription model, and now this. What will they come up with next? I don't even know if I want to know or want to know how we're going to respond to it, because what a mess.